Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, tonight we're going to talk about a meme. And it's not just a meme in the sense of an image, it's an idea that people have. And we're going to look into it. Understand that nothing I say tonight should be taken as an endorsement of any kind of state economy. This is just me trying to get to the bottom of something. Because the idea is showing up because of Bernie. Because, if we elect Bernie, we're going to get breadlines because he's a socialist. Okay, first, Bernie's not a socialist. He's a social democrat. This is made even more confusing by the fact that he's described often as a democratic socialist. None of his policies are socialist. They are the policies of a social democrat. Politicians often get described as something they are not. Take a look at Trump. He's often described as a Republican when he's really a fascist. That's how that works. He's not a socialist. But the idea, the meme, is the breadline thing. Socialism brings poverty. That's the idea. Is it true? There are 4 countries today that self-identify as Marxist-Leninist. To keep it simple, with absolutely no nuance, we're just going to say hardcore socialists, all right? Certainly, if this idea was true, those would be the 4 poorest countries on the planet. Are they? No, not even close. Certainly one of them is at least in the 10 poorest. No. 20 poorest. No. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. No, 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 no. You have to get up to 95. It's Laos. Those countries, incidentally, are Cuba, China, Laos, and Vietnam. There are 9 more countries that reference socialism in their constitution, but they aren't full-blown socialists. Okay? Certainly those are the poorest countries. Now, if you were to take the bottom 50 poorest countries, 2 of them would be on that list. 2. Incidentally, both of those countries, Tanzania and Guyana, both of them are countries that were pillaged via colonialism by a capitalist society until the 1960s. If you were to exclude those, you would have to get up to 87 before you find a country that mentions socialism in its constitution. Those other countries, by the way, are Algeria, Bangladesh, Guyana, India, North Korea, Nicaragua, Portugal, Sri Lanka, and Tanzania. So, out of the 50 poorest countries, 96% are operating under some form of a capitalist society, some form of a capitalist economy. In some cases, they're mixed. It certainly doesn't seem like the breadline thing is true. When you look at countries like Cuba, who is 147th, then you have to factor in the fact that they've been sanctioned for decades. They've had decades worth of sanctions hitting their economy, and they're still 147th. Another way to look at this would be to go from the other side. What are the 5 most powerful economies in the world? 2 of them are on this list. It's just not true. It's Cold War propaganda that needs to go away. China and India. China is always in the top 5. India falls between 3 and 6, depending on the year. It's just a falsehood. We need to keep in mind that shortly before the breadlines, there were people in the United States selling their children because they couldn't afford to feed them. It's just not true. It's almost like the economic system and the governmental system aren't always connected. One of the other things that we need to keep in mind is that socialism attempts, in theory, to eliminate poverty. Capitalism requires poverty. It's not a defect. It's a planned feature of it. It's the stick to go along with the carrot. If you are a good little boy or girl and you're a good consumer and you play by all the rules and you do what you're supposed to, you get the carrot of the middle class. If you don't, you get the stick to knock you out into the street, into poverty. Poverty is the silent, ever-present policeman that keeps the capitalist system moving. The breadline thing just needs to go away. It's not true. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.